I'm here to actually tell some jokes now. My name's Todd. I'm senior tutor at Glasgow University School of Law, and that means that tonight you're going to get some legal jokes. And legal jokes are the best jokes, because they're 100% true. I'm a lawyer, I have to tell the truth, so I'll give you some examples of legal jokes. I say, why did the chicken cross the road? Because the farmer broke the law. Need a fence under the Poultry Act of 1983. Chickens should be kept in a coop. Knock knock, who's there? The police. The police who? The police would like to come in. Do you have a search warrant? No. Well, you can't, because that's the law. An Englishman and an Irishman and Scotsman walk into a bar. The barman says, "Can I see some ID, gentlemen?" Because he's a responsible landlord. See, the law jokes are the best jokes because they're 100% true. You're all looking a bit sceptical. I'm not going to talk about law jokes all the time, because what I want to talk about is one particular aspect of law. I want to talk about the police. The police. I know some of you are from Scotland, so I don't know what your idea of Scottish policemen is. It's probably either Taggart or Hamish Macbeth. And for me it was Hamish Macbeth, the lovable Highland copper who solved crimes with his wee Scotty dog, complicated crimes like where's Mrs McGlumpher's sheep? And at the end of the episode it would be revealed they walked over the hill. Innocent crimes. It was the 80s, it was the 90s, it was brilliant. And I'm also from Stornoway, in the Western Isles. If you don't know Stornoway, Stornoway is a very kind of a backwards island. I'll show you how backwards it is. My dad phoned me a couple of years ago, and he said, he was watching the news, and it was a story of Tommy Sheridan. I don't know if you know Tommy Sheridan. Tommy Sheridan was a Scottish politician who was found in swingers clubs. My dad's a Free Church minister. He phoned me and he said, "Andrew, what's an orgy?" I didn't know what to say, so I tried to explain it to him in a language that a tutor would understand. I said, "Dad, it's just like a frisky Kaylee." And he said, "Oh, say no more, son. That's how I met your mum." Hope not. But it was an innocent time, because the first time I came to Glasgow, I was 16. I was walking along the Kelvin Way, and this guy approached me. He grabbed me, he pulled me into the bushes, and he said, "You shagged my sister." I hadn't. Like, I was 16 from Stornoway. I had all the sexual magnetism of the Andrex puppy. I didn't even know my sister. He said again, he said, "You shagged my sister." And he took out a knife. I didn't know what to do. It was clearly a case of mistaken identity, so I did what I think any 16-year-old boy would have done in the circumstances. I turned to him and I said, "Of course I shagged your sister, and I shagged your ma." And when I got out of hospital, that's when I met a policeman for the very first time. His name was Duncan. He was lovely. And that was 20 years ago. Everything has now changed. It's no longer Hamish Macbeth. If you see a policeman in Scotland, he's going to be more like Rambo. He's covered in guns. He's got guns on his hip, he's got guns around his waist, he's got guns everywhere. And until 2 years ago, policemen in Scotland never carried a gun. The reason it changed, it's not because crime was increased. People say, "Oh, we must have more crime because they carry guns." Well, that's not true. Scotland is not a gangster's paradise. Not unless you think by paradise, it's a place that gangsters go to for holiday, so stop all their gangstering for 2 weeks. Crime has actually gone down over the last couple of years, yet policemen still carry guns. And the reason they carry guns is actually very simple. Kenny McCaskill, Justice Secretary, stood up in Scottish Parliament and he said, "We need guns because the UK has guns and we're the third the size of the UK, so we need a third of the guns." That's Scottish independence for you. That's Scottish independence thinking. Everyone else has got guns, we have to have guns too. But it's not just guns that we've imported. I want to talk about a case called, I don't know if you've heard of the Sheku Bayou. Sheku Bayou was a black man in Kirkcaldy. And a couple of months ago, he was walking along the road when he was assaulted by police. He died. When you look at the official police records, it gives a list of all the things that happened to him. And I don't want to make any assumptions, about police brutality or anything else. I'm just going to give you the facts as they are, and you can be your own judge. Now, his body was covered in cuts, it was covered in bruises, he had over 24 injuries to his head and neck. Now, you might think, well, he's assaulted by the police. But the police said, no, he actually died of too much excitement. Too much excitement. A genuine medical condition called I have to get the right term for it. Excited delirium. Genuine medical condition, excited delirium. By genuine medical condition, I mean, one, it's genuine, so it's completely fake. And by medical condition, I mean it's bollocks. If you look at the history of excited delirium, it's actually only ever mentioned in connection with police beatings. It turns out that suspects really like getting beaten up by the police. They get too much adrenaline, then they die. Now, excited delirium was found out to be completely made up, because the very first time it was mentioned, there was 30 prostitutes in Florida were killed. And they said, oh, it's excited delirium. They were just so happy that they were all getting beaten up that they just keeled over and died out of happiness. 2 years later, they came back and discovered he was actually a serial killer. Excited delirium. So what we've done is we've imported guns from England and we've imported a disease from the States. I think we've called it racism. Now, if you think, this isn't going to happen to me, because, I'm just going to walk along the street, no one's going to beat me up, no one's going to get shot by a gun. Aberdeen, 2 weeks ago, the police have decided to introduce a new policy. This policy is called, you definitely did it, you're definitely guilty, unless you can prove you're innocent, we're going to arrest you. Now, most people think, you're innocent until proven guilty, but not in Aberdeen, you're guilty until proven innocent. They've had a test. They went out into town, they went to one of the clubs, and there was 100 people queuing. And they said, we assume that you're queuing for this nightclub, that makes you either a junkie or a drug dealer. So you're not innocent, you're a junkie or a drug dealer, and we're going to test every single one of you. So they tested all 100 people on the assumption they were junkies or drug dealers, and what they found was no drugs whatsoever. 100 people, nothing. Now that sounds like a horrible night out. I mean, how can you go to a night out to 100 people and no one's holding any drugs? But it's Aberdeen, they're cheapskates. And the best thing about this is the club that they were at was called Club Tropicana. So no wonder they weren't having any drugs. Not when the drinks are free. So we've got guns, we've got racism, we've got guilty until you prove otherwise. Scottish police really are the best. I'll end with just one joke, final legal joke. A black man walks into a bar. Ouch, he says. But according to the police report, he died peacefully in his sleep. I've been Andrew Todd. Thank you very much. Good night.